everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. We will be doing a methodology breakdown of Verra's PWRM0001 methodology, which focuses on plastic waste collection. In today's agenda, we have 8 topics we will cover. These include some information about Envision blockchain, a Guardian overview, recap of previous webinars, our policy development checklist. Then we'll go over an introduction of PWRM0001, go over some information about plastic waste collection, how waste collection credits are calculated, and then we'll show you our schema designs and the workflow. So before we begin going into methodology specifics, let's do a quick overview of who we are. Envision Blockchain Solutions offers expertise in the Web3 space, specifically in building and maintaining applications that help organizations navigate their Web3 journey, with our specialized focus on guiding organizations through the 3 major milestones of use case analysis, proof of concept development, and scaled deployments. We're uniquely positioned to help our clients achieve their Web3 goals. And with our expertise as the builders and maintainers of the Guardian, we offer insights and support to ensure that our clients stay ahead of the curve in this fast-moving and dynamic space. So as you may know, the process of designing and collecting the supporting data for carbon claims is heavily manual and prone to errors. This can be due to a variety of factors, including poor data quality, a lack of assurance, potential double counting, greenwashing, and an overall lack of trust. The Guardian is here to address these issues by leveraging a cutting-edge policy workflow engine. The Guardian can mirror the standards and business requirements of regulatory bodies, creating extremely flexible digital methodologies known as DMRV. This approach not only helps organizations ensure compliance with regulatory requirements, but it also enables them to streamline their carbon accounting processes, improve data quality, and reduce the risk of errors and inaccuracies. So you could think of a policy inside of the Guardian as a digital version of the methodology, and by using the policy workflow blocks like Legos, you could design your desired workflow. So to the right here, you can see our configurator, and here is where you can go ahead and put all these blocks together to design your policy that you'll be using in the Guardian. At the heart of this ecosystem are 4 key technologies that enable us to deliver trusted and transparent solutions for the carbon market. First, we use W3C decentralized identifiers, or also known as DIDs. DIDs are globally unique IDs that allow individuals and organizations to generate their own identifiers using systems they trust. By using DIDs, we can ensure that the carbon credits are issued to the correct party and that they cannot be duplicated or manipulated in any way. Second, we use verifiable credentials. VCs are a digital document that provide information related to the subject, the issuing authority, and the type of credential, as well as specific attributes of the subject and evidence related to how the credential was derived. By using VCs, we can ensure that the carbon credits are issued only to those who meet the necessary criteria and that the credits themselves are valid and trustworthy. Third, we use verifiable presentations. VPs are a collection of 1 or more VCs, which we'll see at the end of our demo today. So now we're going to go over a recap of our past webinars. We've done some webinars on Verra methodologies that include VM17, VM42. Those were both about agriculture, land management. Then we did a webinar on Verra's afforestation, reforestation, and revegetation methodology versus gold standards afforestation, reforestation methodology. And then we started doing some of CDM's methodologies that include AR-ACM0003, AMS3AR, AMS2G, AMS3D, AMS3BB, and the last one we did last month was Verra's VM44. And all of these can be found in our YouTube channel. So if you're interested, go ahead and look at that playlist where we have a video for each one of these methodologies and policies. Now we could look at our policy development checklist, and this was created by our ESG consultants. So here are some steps that you can take if you're interested in designing a policy for the Guardian, and this is mainly for the design of the policy and not actually building it with the policy configurator. So the first thing you want to do is identify the standard and find an appropriate methodology. So whether you have one that you know you're already interested in, or maybe you're looking for one, then you can go ahead and look at Verra, Gold Standard, IREC, CDM, or any other standard or registry out there that has something that interests you. Then you could review the standard and methodology documents, and this is important to find any applicability conditions or information about the methodology before you go ahead and start. Then you want to identify roles, processes, and requirements of the standard. This is something that's going to play a big part in designing your schema and the workflow. Then you can identify the input parameters and equations of the methodology. Here's where you would mainly design your schema, looking at all the equations that play a part in order to calculate how many credits can be issued for your project. Then you want to go ahead and create a workflow and schema, which will show you an example of that later in the demo. And then finally, you could build a policy for the Guardian using our policy configurator. So now going into an introduction of PWRM0001, which is a plastic waste collection methodology. This methodology outlines steps to gauge the extra plastic waste removed or diverted from the environment via formal or informal activities. These initiatives target preventing plastic waste from lingering or ending up in the environment. For projects that involve both collecting and recycling plastic waste, adherence to this methodology coupled with an approved recycling approach is essential. And I believe Verra has their own recycling methodology as well that can be coupled with this one. However, the one we're going over today is mainly for plastic waste collection and not recycling. So this combination will help showcase the added impact and measures the plastic waste collected and recycled through these activities. Some conditions for applicability for this methodology is that the plastic waste collection activities include informal and formal collection, new or capacity addition activities, so increase in the total capacity of plastic waste collection accomplished manually or via electromechanical equipment. Identifiable sources of waste sources left or dumped in the environment without the project activity, supported by credible evidence like government data or independent surveys, which that can be inserted into the policy as well. Disposal or transfer of collected waste, direct disposal in a landfill or transfer to processing/recycling facilities, but keep in mind that this specific one is not for recycling. There's another methodology for that. You'd want to record the dry weight of collected waste reaching appropriate end destinations. 5 is authorized utilization of collected waste, so prohibited use in unauthorized or illegal activities. Monitoring and contractual evidence ensuring authorized disposal. End-of-life destinations, compliance of end destinations with local or national regulations should be demonstrated. This includes reprocessing, mechanical or chemical recycling, incineration with energy recovery, and landfill use with specific criteria. 7 is demonstration plastic waste availability, so evidence showing the presence of uncollected plastic waste in the region. And finally, non-competitive collection activities, so assurance that the project doesn't compete with or divert waste from existing collection activities, and evidence indicating no diversion from historically existing collection practices should be included. So this methodology is not applicable under the following conditions, and that's going to be if the end-of-life destinations are open burning, dumping on open land, dumping in water bodies or dump sites, and incineration without energy recovering. So if any of that is part of the project activities, then this methodology is not going to be applicable. About plastic waste collection. So here are some benefits about collecting plastic waste. Environmental preservation is going to be a key one there. Collection prevents plastic from entering natural ecosystems, reducing pollution and safeguarding wildlife habitats. Resource conservation, recycling collected Plastic reduces the need for new raw materials, conserving natural resources like oil or energy. Waste reduction, removing plastic waste from the environment minimizes visual pollution and mitigates health hazards associated with improperly disposed plastics. Economic opportunities, so collection activities create job opportunities, especially in recycling and waste management sectors, contributing to local economies. Community health improvement, cleaner surroundings due to effective waste collection positively impact public health and well-being by reducing disease transmission and contamination risk. Innovation and technology. It encourages innovation in recycling technologies, leading to advancements and sustainable waste management practices. And finally, climate impact. So proper waste management, including plastic collection, contributes to mitigating greenhouse gas emissions. Now, how we calculate the amount of waste collection credits that can be issued based on the PWRM0001 calculation approach. So here we have some of the steps outlined within the methodology itself. And the first one is going to be demonstration of additionality. So the project proponent must follow the steps outlined in the methodology to demonstrate additionality. And there is a decision tree that could be helpful within the methodology itself if you're interested in looking at that and seeing how you could demonstrate additionality for this project. 2 is the baseline plastic waste collection. So baseline plastic waste collection is the amount of plastic waste that would have been collected in the absence of the project activity. There's an equation for that is included in our policy and can be used to find the net plastic waste collection there. So the third one is going to be project plastic waste collection, and this is the amount of plastic waste that is collected by the project activity. And the last step here is 4, so the net plastic waste collection. This is the amount of plastic waste collected by the project activity that would not have been collected without the project's implementation. And that's also going to be the equation that we're going to show in the next slide. So this equation is going to be the most important. This is how we figure out how many credits to issue, and it's going to be the final equation in the methodology itself. So we see that the net plastic waste collected in year Y is going to be N collected, is in that top equation. And that's going to equal the sum of the project waste collected minus the baseline plastic waste collected. However, the sum should be dependent on the amount of destinations that the waste is transferred to. So if you have 3 final destinations there, or N destinations, then we would be summing all 3 of the project waste collection and the baseline waste collection. So now we could look at the schema, and this is going to be what we design in order to create a policy within the Guardian. This is an example of one, but we could show you the actual one we have. So we always start off with these different sections here of, do we have a required field? And you'll see if you're creating a policy within the Guardian, you can create schemas and check if you want it to be required or not. So that's why we outline this here. We also have a button for selective disclosure. So if I wanted to say that the address, let's say California was the address, and I want that to be private, then I can put yes here, say we want that to be disclosed. And when we're creating schemas, then we check off the box for selective disclosure. Do we want to allow multiple answers, yes or no, what the schema type is, so whether it's a string, a number, address, date range. Then we have the parameter, which this just helps us organize the Excel. We have the question that we're asking, and these are sample answers. So we always start off as well with the project details. This is all the information that will be needed about the person or organization that's conducting this project, as well as the location and information about the project itself. Then we have the baseline plastic waste collection that we saw in that slide. Some questions that can provide values there to help us calculate the final amount. Then we have the project plastic waste collection section or schema. In here, we ask questions in order to get values for the equation that's needed there. And then the final equation that we showed is going to be here, which is the net plastic waste collection. Now we can go ahead and look at what a policy workflow looks like, and this is the one for PWRM0001. So we have 3 roles here that have been outlined, like the project proponent, Verra as the standard registry, and the VVB. So once all their accounts have been approved, then the project proponent can go ahead and create the project design document. So they'll be filling out things like the project details, the baseline plastic waste collection, project plastic waste collection, and the net plastic waste collection information that's needed. Then they can go ahead and submit that, and Verra will go ahead and add the project to the project pipeline. Then the VVB can review, so they can either approve or reject this. If it's rejected, then the project proponent will want to go ahead and resubmit that PDD. If it's approved, then the activities will begin monitoring, where they can go ahead and collect all the data needed in order to fill out your monitoring report. And these monitored parameters should be filled out and updated as per the methodology's guidelines. Then that's submitted, and the VVB again can either approve or reject that. Once approved, the project is added to the project registry by Verra, and Verra will go ahead and do their own review and either approve or reject it, and the WCCs are issued. We're going to do a short demo of what this policy looks like in the Guardian, and we'll be using open source Guardian today. So here we have open source Guardian, where we have different tabs at the top, like the user profile. We have the policies tab that has schemas, artifacts, modules, tools, and policies. We're going to be focused on policies today, but we can go ahead and take a quick look at what the schemas tabs looks like. This is where all the information that you see in the Excel is inserted in order for us to have the project form that we'll be filling out today. We could also go ahead and look at the policy configurator. So this is where all of that we went over in the workflow is outlined. Everything that includes calculations will also happen here. So if we open a new project, we see this block here, which will have all the calculations that was outlined in the Excel. So let's go ahead and select Go. And now, as I mentioned in the workflow, we have 3 different roles, but we're currently logged in as the standard registry. So I'm going to select this button twice to create 2 users. And now we can go to virtual user 1, where we can now assign a role. We're going to assign it to the project proponent, and then we can assign the VVB to virtual user 2. And then you're going to give the VVB a name. So for this demo, we're just going to put VVB and select create. So now we see it says waiting for approval. This is when the registry or Verra would go ahead and go to the administrator account, and they can either approve or reject the VVB, and also see the VC file there for the VVB. So we're going to select approve. And now we can go to the project proponents account and select new project. This is the form that we'll be filling out. So for this demo, I'm just going to put X's as the text, and then we'll be using some demo values for the value fields. So we see all the information like the location there. We can go ahead and select a spot on a map, organization name, contact person, their title, address, telephone, email, the project ownership, what methodology they're using, and the project start date. So we'll just choose today. Then we'll choose today again and a year from today. We'll do the same for monitoring period. Then they can explain their monitoring plan, any compliance with the laws, if they have any SDGs that are part of this project, and any further information. Now we're going to go ahead and select yes or no. Is the material collected identified by type? We can say yes. If it's being transferred to different destinations, we could say no. And then we're just going to put some values there. Again, we'll do the same thing here and select create. And now we see it says waiting to be added. So we're going to go ahead and go to the administrator's account, select project pipeline, and we could click add. We could also see the VC document for the information that was submitted. So let's go ahead and select add. Now we see it says waiting for validation, but before we do that, you want to go ahead and go to the project proponent where they need to assign the VBB. So you're going to see a drop down and select the VBB that you want to assign it to. And then we're going to go ahead and go to the VBB. Now the VBB can see the information we filled out as well and validate this project or reject it. So we're going to select validate. And now we can go to the project proponent where they can fill out the monitoring report. We're going to keep it all the same for this demo and select create. And now we can go to virtual user 2, which is the VBB, and select on the monitoring reports tab. And select verify. And then we'll go to the standard registry, select monitoring reports, and now we see a mint button. So we're going to go ahead and click view document and select mint. So here we could see one token was minted, and we can go ahead and select view trust chain. And this is going to be our VP. That has all the VC files here at the bottom. So we could see all the steps that we just went through and who was a part of that step. So we have the administrator, standard registry, we have the project proponent, the VBB, all the way till the mint of VCUs here. Oh, should be WCCs, but there we have all the VC files for that and every step that was taken. So we're going to go ahead and open up for any questions. You can also find more information about us on our GitHub. You could reach out to us on Discord, where you could send any questions or join the community there, or directly to Envision by sending us an email or finding more information on our website. Thank you all for joining, and I hope to see you here again next month. Thank you.